And I can see that the next speaker, Ivan Angelovsky, is already lined up. Welcome, Ivan. Ivan is working for the Balkan Investigative Reporting Network, where he is the investigations editor. He comes from Serbia, and he will speak about illegal arms business with the catchy title of How to Expose That While Wearing Your Pajamas, which reminds me of the new verb that we have learned this summer and autumn, which is called Donald ducking, which means that you have a jacket on where there's a camera, and then you have something less on underneath the table, or a pajama, maybe.
We were doing it before it was cool.
Yeah. The work that you've done on the arms trade and illegal arms trade is incredibly meticulous. I've been preparing a little bit, meticulous and thorough, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing Ivan tell about how Bern unveiled arms exports during to countries where it wasn't allowed to export, to embargoes and so on. Welcome, Ivan. And again, for all our participants, do send questions in the Q&A window, and I'll keep an eye on that. Welcome, Ivan.
Thanks, Brigitte. And just like Anna was saying, you know, it's a dire period for media. Last couple of decades probably, but for journalism it's brilliant. It's never been better. It's never been more exciting to be a journalist than now, and that's actually with all the tools that we have at our hands, and you know that we can you know, just the fact that I can sit you know on a beach in on Copacabana and surf through Hong Kong's business registry. That's like that internet and social media and all the databases and everything that several newsrooms and media organizations are doing, scraping all the data and putting it in a more accessible, shaping it into something that we can explore and exploit. That's brilliant. So that's what basically we were doing with arms trade investigations. So you know, currently, let me just share my screen. So currently, I mean, we have, this is a website of Council on Foreign Relations. It's a US-based organization that is having this like brilliant tracker of all the conflicts in the world. Well, they kind of have it from a US perspective, and they are kind of ranking it depending on the level of impact on US interests. But US has a lot of interests, and you know, basically they are marking every important conflict in the world. Look, I mean, every conflict is important. In every conflict, you know, lives are lost. And from journalistic point of view, you kind of want to report even or mostly on conflicts that are underreported. But this gives us opportunity to see what's on a higher scale. And this map kind of gives you the overview of you how many conflicts are there and how many guns are needed. In the Balkans, there are a number of arms producing companies. So these are all the relics of communism, of that all that era, and most of the companies that are working now are from that period, and they're producing Soviet-style weapons still. Those are cheap, those are very effective, and people in these conflict areas know how to use them. So it's Soviet era weapons are simple, they are easy to use, they often jam. Quality of bullets is not as good as NATO caliber is demanding, but it's cheap. And countries where it's produced, namely Bulgaria, Bosnia, Serbia, Croatia, Montenegro, they are easy to deal with. You can strike a deal with them, and they want to. They, if I may say so, they don't ask too many questions. So having all of that in mind, I think that production capacities of arms factories in the Balkans are sold out probably in the next few years. They cannot produce as many weapons, especially as many ammunition, as all these wars are consuming. And having in mind that the US, that Saudi Arabia, that United Arab Emirates are buying all these weapons, you can be sure that these conflicts are going to continue in the foreseeable future. So this global conflict tracker from Council on Foreign Relations is a brilliant tool to have an overview of where you need to look for weapons that you want to report on. Now, this is a website called Live UA Map, and it's a tool that I started with. It's not perfect, but it's good to start monitoring what's going on. And what they do, they feed all the social media posts into this easy to use and easy to understand map view. And there is a number of filters there that you can use to basically customize this map according to the story you are working on. And when you do that, every now and then, actually very often, you will see that weapons pictures are popping up, or that videos are popping up somewhere. These wars in the last couple of years are very different than anything else that was before there. All of them are on social media. They all know the power of social media. So when ISIS was in peak of its power, their propaganda machinery was incredible. They had professionally done videos, professionally done publications. The editing, the production level of those videos, some social media companies or some media outlets would be ashamed with all the technical level of their videos. So they're putting a lot of a lot of efforts into social media. Fighters in all groups that are fighting in the Middle East, especially, but all around, are you can follow their Twitter accounts or Facebook accounts. You can follow their Instagram account. They're everywhere. You can, there are several channels that you can subscribe to, but only if you don't mind seeing a lot of dead people and a lot of horrible images. I mean, I was subscribed to some of those, but the level that people are sharing is just too overwhelming. You can find a lot of information there, but it's basically following those channels. So those Telegram and Signal channels is basically like listening to police radio. A lot of junk is going on, but sometimes you find some incredible stuff. So there are people in the world, researchers or people who are very interested into arms trade, that are following all these channels like meticulously, and basically by following them on Twitter, so they would spot something and they would share it immediately on Twitter, and by kind of following them on Twitter, you can basically get a filtered version of those channels, as well as a feed of a lot of other stuff. So this, for example, my tweet deck. This is a screenshot of my tweet deck, and I have like a million other columns on either side, and I have like some that are notifying me all the time when something happens, and I find it as the best way to follow what's going on and what is posted on social media. Now, why am I talking about all of this? It's because the whole arms trade, it's very opaque. So it's the most profitable business in the world, and it's the best organized business in the world. So regardless of what somebody wants to convince you in, governments know exactly where every bullet is going, where every mortar is going to end up. They know that, and but they don't want to tell you that. So when we started working on this, there were like nobody had any idea of the scale of it and where the weapons are going. So I will show you later how we got into this. But the thing you need to prove that ammunition and weapons are ending up where they shouldn't, it is through social media. Or I mean, if your media company can send you to some of these conflict zones for you to see yourself, that's great. But you can work on this literally, from your bedroom, as we all did during the investigation. So the Twitter and some other social media tools are critical to filter out what you need to look into. So that's how we, for example, this was a couple of months ago, found out about this teddy bear. So when Tripoli fell, when Tripoli was liberated or fell, depending on whose side are you on. So people were sweeping through houses and the picture of this teddy bear strapped to a mortar appeared on social media. Now, we kind of needed to verify it, and we verified the position, and we verified that it's not something that can be like just set up for propaganda purposes. This was hidden in a way that someone would take it, and when you get into details, and that's not something that we are experts in, and we're not pretending to be, but we consulted with experts who saw enough evidence on this picture to say with confidence that this was booby trapped. So somebody intentionally put a teddy bear here, strapped it to a mortar with the ignition, and you have all these little things that are kind of telling you that if somebody was to pull this teddy bear, it will explode. And it's a 120 millimeter mortar, which makes a lot of damage and kills a lot of people. I mean, whoever was in that house would be dead. So with these images, what you're looking for is these things. So you're looking for marks. This is pretty unintelligible, but you can, if you look close enough, you can also, what we did, we would filter it out through several tools, and you can find, you can crystal it out that this says that you have a caliber, which is 120 millimeters, you have a type of mortar, and you have a lot. So the lot number, which is this last line, it says KV lot 01/19. Now, when you're long enough in tracking weapons, you know that this means that this mortar was produced in a Serbian factory, Krušik, in the city of Valjevo, and that it was the first lot in 2019. So the sanctions on, the weapons ban for Libya is ongoing, I think, since 2011. So this shouldn't be here in any case. There is no logical explanation except that Serbia allowed export of this mortar to somebody who gave it to somebody else who put it there. And based on our previous experience, we know that Saudi Arabia is buying a lot of that. We know that United Arab Emirates are buying a lot of these mortars. United States also. And that kind of gives you an idea from which side this mortar came. So if you know that UAE and Saudi Arabia are are siding with one side in Libya war, and that's the Haftar side, then you kind of, and that it was Haftar-led forces that probably left this in Tripoli before they left, you kind of get the idea of what actually happened here. So now it's all a matter of getting the trace of how did it get there. So that means going through first to your sources, if you have them in military industry, in army, in arms industry, and they're not so hard to find, which was very surprising to me. But people love to talk about this. If you establish a level of confidence, they want to share information with you. Sometimes you get rubbish. Sometimes you get something brilliant. But you kind of go to them. You go to official sources. So you file freedom of information requests. You file, you send questions, because the chain from Krušik, from city of Valjevo in Serbia to Tripoli is very complex, and there are a lot of moving parts, and it's actually easy to follow, those like breadcrumbs that armed traders are leaving behind. So this story ended up with us figuring out that there were 3 companies that exported these exact mortars, this exact lot. We actually have got even the pictures of them being uploaded to a cargo plane in Serbia. We have all the information, we have all the documents, and we published it. It's we cannot know who exactly exported this particular mortar, because we don't have the serial number of that. But all mortars went to Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, and basically, so all mortars from this lot went to these 2 countries, and it was one of them who kind of pushed it further. But the problem with that is that we are reporting on this since 2014. So from 2014 to 2020 or 2019 in this case, Serbia had enough time to figure out that if we sell something to Saudi Arabia, it's going to end up in some war where Saudi Arabia is not supposed to be using it. So there are rules and regulations that are saying that you can only sell weapons to end user who is a government actor, and he has to be an end user of those weapons. So if you know that those weapons are most likely going to end up somewhere else, you are not supposed to sell that. But that's the reality. Regardless of all the efforts that arms trade experts are putting into control and all that, these things happen all the time. It's normal. It's something that even, if, so we had a couple of lines of investigation on this. And one of them is that United Arab Emirates are buying all these weapons, Saudi Arabia and United States. So United States, as a country which has the highest levels of control and all of that, they are buying weapons from the Balkans and giving them to their proxies in different war zones. So if they are doing that, then why wouldn't everybody else? The problem is that United States are not signatory. They didn't sign the Arms Trade Treaty, and they theoretically don't have to obey to those regulations. But Serbia did. Serbia is a signatory country to Arms Trade Treaty, and they shouldn't do that. But they're obviously doing it. So this is from our previous stories, and this was posted on Facebook. The guy who, he was in a training camp, and they just got new weapons, and he wanted to like brag about it. So he posted on his public Facebook pictures of this heavy machine gun. And when you see this, it's just like every other heavy machine gun. But experts know that this is something that was produced in Serbia in a factory called Zasto Kragujevac, in the city of Kragujevac. And just by the look of it, that it was never used in combat, and you see that it's brand new. And this guy, this fighter from Syria, is posing with it. So that's you cannot explain it with having in mind all the legal issues that I was telling about. So all the checks and everything that needs to get into getting some weapon from one country to another. So what we do, what we did, because we don't, you just have the image of the machine gun. We contacted the guy through his Facebook, and we got a brilliant interview with him when he told us everything that we wanted to know. We kind of felt that because he's a fighter, because he's in that situation, because he, he's not, he doesn't know what media is. We felt the need to protect his identity. So we blurred his face. Although this is, you can still find this on his public Facebook page. So, but we just we wouldn't feel good about ourselves if we would publish his identity with his. We changed his voice in an interview. He gave us the video interview through a translator, which you can also do, from your bedroom in your pajamas. But he was able to send us pictures of that same machine gun when it was put in use. So what they did, they would, his whole unit was in a training camp in an undisclosed location. We know where it is, but we didn't, or we did publish, never mind. But they got all these weapons and they moved them to Syria, and they mounted this machine gun on this, on a pickup truck. And he sent us pictures from combat. We were able to locate it, and he sent us pictures of this bottom picture. You can clearly see the serial number. It's 3007. I don't know if you see where I'm pointing, but it's on the right hand side of the picture, and that's basically all you need. So all you need is a serial number, and you can go from there. And we kind of reconstructed the entire path of this machine gun. So it started in Zastava. It was sold to a Bulgarian businessman. That information, so when you ask government through freedom of information, or even through just regular journalistic questions, when you ask them, who did you sell this to? The machine gun with this and this characteristics, and this and this serial number. They don't have any legal reason not to tell it to you. So, they have to tell you, that they sold it to this guy from Bulgaria, who is Peter Mandjukov, and he is a very, very, very experienced player in arms business. And the end user for the machine gun was Saudi Arabia. The training camp was in Saudi Arabia. And that's how it ended up with Free Syrian Army. And you kind of have the entire path with all the people who were involved with. I think we have contracts for this, and it matched some other documents we got from some other sources. So I think for this we have like the entire documentation, and that's why I'm showing it to you here. That that's basically all you need. You need one clear evidence that something went from one country to another through all these steps when it shouldn't have. Legally, it shouldn't happen. So when you have that, you compare it to all the those social media evidence that you have from Twitter, from YouTube. YouTube is very big, and in units are showcasing what they have, and they don't care about the serial numbers or the lot numbers. Most of the lot numbers and serial numbers that we got it from looking through hours and hours of YouTube videos that fighters were posting on internet. And that's how you kind of watch it, and you stop it wherever you see something that looks like a lot number, and then you go from there. Are we how much time do we have?
Almost there. Just to let
okay,
you know.
let me just show you this. So this is what started the investigation. We kind of had some rumors that arms trade is happening. It was in 2014, and I thought it was actually 2015. So we kind of had all these like leads from different places, but we didn't know anything about arms trade. I was covering mostly corruption, organized crime, as well as my colleagues that I was working with. So we had no idea about this. We knew about we had some ideas about the scale, but you would never look into that until we got to this picture. So it was posted from. We got it from a source, but we later found it on a Facebook page, closed Facebook page of Serbian spotters. I've hidden all the information. It's June 5th, 2015. And in this picture, you have all you need to know. So you have the date, you have the type of plane, you have the name of the company, and you have the registry number of that plane. And then you have all those online services that you can use to track a plane from where it took off to where it landed. And having in mind all of that, I can actually share with you the handout for this, because tracking planes is a brilliant way to track illicit trade, because they cannot deny that a certain plane was in a certain place in a certain time, because that's tracked. And when you have that information, you can do a lot of things with that. So you can, we managed to get all the information about all the flights of this particular plane, and then all other Ilyushin cargoes or Boeing 747 cargoes that went from the Balkans, so from Belgrade, Niš, Plovdiv, Sofia, Rijeka, to the Middle East, and it was a lot. So, but so for this particular thing, you need actually to get out of from your bedroom and put some pants on, because you need to go to airport and find the spots where you can take pictures of planes landing, of ammunition being delivered, uploaded from those trucks to planes, and then going wherever they would go. Mostly they would go to Jeddah or Abu Dhabi or Prince Sultan Air Base, and you kind of get the idea what's going and where, and having in mind that each plane has like 50 tons, I think, of cargo that it can carry. You can imagine how much ammunition and weapons are going, and you can recreate. This is our graphic from that story. You can recreate the number of flights and how much went. Just one more thing. So all these tools you can access through. This is our resource desk. It's bird.tools, and it's something that we. It's basically where it's our brain dump, basically, where we put all the tools that so you don't have to search for them every time that you need something. So yeah, go there, and there's a lot of other interesting things also.
Thanks a lot. This is very fascinating work. I had
it's a lot.
Obviously some questions as you were speaking, but
yeah.
We have Pavla already waiting for the next presentation.
Oh, okay.
We don't have breaks in between. So I would suggest everybody to turn to the LinkedIn group that was posted in the chat and talk, and maybe you can also share the links there to the bird.
Yeah, sure, I'll be happy to.
Collection. Thank you so much, Ivan.
Thanks, thank Birgit.
And take care when you, with or without pajamas.
Thanks, thank you.